Okay, welcome everybody to yet another new CAD lesson. This week we're going to create a part. As you can see on the left, we're mostly going to use the extrude feature. Keep in mind that for some of the other parts in the homework assignment, you'll probably also need the revolve feature. This week we're also going to discuss some new features. If we go to the features here, we're going to use the shell feature, and we're also going to use the extruded boss base feature up to a surface. In the sketch tools, we're going to use the convert entities, and I'm also going to show you how the offset entities work. So those are a couple of new features I'll be showing you. What I'll also be showing is the extrude feature using multiple sections. I'll show you how that works when we start creating the part. So let's remove this. Go to File, go to New, select Part, click on OK. And we have three planes, and I'm going to select my front plane to draw on. I'm going to go to Extrude Boss Base to start my sketch. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw almost a complete part in one sketch, and then instead of using multiple independent sketches and independent extrudes, I'm going to make one sketch, and I'm going to use that same sketch in multiple extrudes by selecting different portions of the sketch. Now this sounds very complicated, but SolidWorks makes this really easy. So we're just going to draw the sketch. This should be 22 millimeters, and then we have an outer circle which is 40. Now I can draw another outer circle again. Make this 40 millimeters. Now I can also use the offset entities tool. This tool creates an offset from my original sketch. So if I click on this, and I can add an offset, for instance 5 millimeters, I can select a circle in this case, and it follows that circle, but it adds an offset in this direction, depicted by the yellow line, of 5 millimeters. I can also reverse it, and it adds an offset with an offset dimension in this case. So it's a very handy tool to use. For now, we're just going to continue using the sketch. And now I'm going to draw a center line, because the part is symmetric again, so we only have to draw half. And then we're going to crudely draw the rest here. Now as you can see, it automatically snapped on tangent relation, so I don't have to do that manually. If it doesn't appear, then you do have to add it manually for it to become fully defined. And then we can add the rest of the dimensions. This should be 100 millimeters. The height of this part, let's drag that around first, should be 12. This distance should be 5. And the width of the bottom end should be 90 millimeters. Like so. Okay, now we can mirror everything again. So just select everything on this side and mirror it about this line. Okay. Now what we can do is we can start the extrude. So we're going to go to features, going to go to extrude, but then SolidWorks has a problem. We cannot just extrude now because we have multiple sections, multiple contours. As you can see here, this option pops up and we can select the parts we want to extrude. So the first thing I'm going to extrude is this cylinder. And we're going to extrude them from the midplane. And it has to be 50 millimeters. Then the sketch disappears. Every sketch that is used automatically disappears. If we want it to reappear, we can click open this box here, right mouse click and select show, and then the sketch will stay permanent. And we can hide it again by right clicking on it and hiding it again. If I want to use the sketch again, then I just click on the sketch here and click on extrude again. And then I'm back in the same menu. Now I'm going to select midplane again. In this case, I'm going to select these two options. For the contours, select 8 millimeters and click on OK. Now I've used one sketch twice, so I can add as many dimensions as possible in a single sketch. If I want to change something, chances are that I only have to enter one sketch instead of multiple sketches, which make adding changes a lot easier. Now I'm going to add another extrude, and I'm going to add this from the bottom. So I'm going to add an extrude boss base on this face. Select normal to view, add a rectangle, make sure these two lines are collinear, add a dimension here which should be 80 millimeters. And now we're going to add some fillets in the corners. Now, as you can see, there's an error in this book. This is only for the Dutch student. The English students will have 2D production drawings, which will probably fix this error. In the Dutch book, the radius of the corners is not given. For now, we're going to enter it as 12 millimeters. So if it might happen that you find an error somewhere in the book, for these examples, it doesn't really matter. The main point of all these examples is that you're able to create the parts. And it doesn't really matter if one radius is 10 or 12 millimeters, as long as you are able to add a radius. I can assure you that all the CSWA exams, they are checked so many times, there will never be a dimension missing. So you don't have to worry about that during the CSWA exams. And now, for the purpose of these homework assignments, just make sure you're able to create and model the parts. If you're able to do that, then you are properly prepared for the CSWA exam. So now we're going to select all the 4 corners for this fillet here, click on OK. Now we're going to add the whole pattern. It's a square pattern, or sorry, I should say it's a rectangular pattern. So we're going to add a rectangle and make it for construction here on the left side. Now we're just going to add 4 holes, make them equal in diameter or radius. That should be 12, and the width on this side should be 56, and at the bottom end 66. Now we're going to go to features, go to extrude again. Now what we're going to do is we're going to change direction using this button, and then I'm not going to enter a dimension. I'm going to say up to surface, and I'm going to select this little surface here. So if I change the dimension in my previous sketch, which controls the height of this bit, this extrude, which I'm creating now, will automatically adjust itself. So we're going to click on OK. So if I change this sketch, this 12 to, for instance, 20, and if I exit the sketch, as you can see, the extrude automatically adjusts. Let's change it back. It goes 12. Yep. Okay, and we're back. Now we just need to make another extrude and then add the fillet. Since there are many fillets here, and some of the fillets are 3D, I decided to add all the fillets afterwards in one single feature. This way I have all the fillets except this one, which is another radius. But all the other fillets are 5 millimeter. They're all scattered around the model. So if you want to change the fillet, you can do that in one single feature, so all the fillets are in the same place. So for now, we're just going to create the other extrude using this right plane. Now another feature I want to show you is the convert entities feature. Let's say I want to select this line, and I want to use this line in my sketch. At the moment it's not in my sketch, and I don't want to retrace this line exactly. I might make an error. What I can do is just select some lines and click convert entities. And those lines are automatically converted to a sketch. So when attaching sketches to other parts of the 3D object, the convert entities option is very useful. Now, we're once again going to start with a center line to add symmetry and draw part of the sketch. Now it auto snapped here from the middle, which we don't want. So I'm going to remove the midpoint option by clicking on that point, which has the relation, and removing the midpoint option because I still want to add a dimension here, so just should be able to change. So now I'm going to add the dimension, which is 5 millimeters. And on top it's also 5 millimeters. Now what I could do now is close the sketch off, add the extrude, and it will be done. But let's show you what happens if I close the sketch, go to features, go to extrude, extrude from the midplane, 8 millimeters. You'll see a problem occurs. We get a gap. Since this is not what we want, we're going to do it in a slightly different way. I'm going to match this line to the cylinder, to this cylinder. If the cylinder changes, this line will always stay put on the cylinder, making sure we don't get any gaps. So even if I change my part, this will ensure that no gaps will occur. Keep in mind if I change my dimensions very significantly, so for instance if I were to make this tube only 0.5 millimeter thick, then problems would occur. And then I would start from this sketch making an extrude to this side and then cutting away the excess material for the angle here using a cut extrude. So this is also an option, but it uses more features. Now let's go back to the sketch. Let's remove this part. Let's remove this line as well. And now what we're simply going to do, let's first mirror everything. Makes it a little bit easier. And then we're going to continue drawing sketch. In this case a little bit higher. Let's add the perpendicular, the collinear relationship here. And now I'm going to make everything see-through again. And the reason is I get this line. You see this little dotted line here? This line represents the bottom end of the cylinder. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a center line. And the reason for that is I want this line to lie directly on this dotted line. But for now this is not possible because I cannot select this line because it doesn't exist. The cylinder is a face, it's not a line, so I cannot really select it at this point. What I can do is add a relation using this point, because this cylinder or this outer edge only crosses the right plane on 2 points, this point and that point. So I can add a relation saying this point should cross this circle using the pierce option. Now there are 2 ways. It pierces the plane there and there. So let's remove it a little bit. Try again. And then it snaps to the right order. So if you have to point a little bit up higher, it will snap to this point here. And if you put it in a little bit lower, it will automatically snap to that point. Now this line will always remain on the cylinder, which is what we want. So now we can exit the sketch. We go to Features, Extrude Boss Base, select the mid plane, 8 millimeters again, click on OK. And let's get back some color by using the view options. That's much better. And now let's add some fillets. So all the fillets now that we have left are 5 millimeters, so we can add them all in one feature. And I don't want to select all these individual lines because if I mess up one, I can start over again. It's tedious. So let's do it a little bit quicker. So I'm going to select one line, right click and select loop. And then using this yellow arrow, I can select 2 different fillets. This is one. Let's add another here. And now I'm already almost done. I only have to select these 4 corner lines. I can click on OK. And the part's done. So that was it. Now I only want to show you the use of one feature. This is just a feature I'm going to show now so you know how the feature works. You don't actually need it in creating this part. This is the shell feature. So click on the shell and we're going to make a shell that's 1 millimeter thick. I'm going to click the bottom face. What will happen now? This face gets deleted and the remaining part will get a thickness of 1 millimeter. So if I click on OK, the entire part gets hollowed out with a thickness of 1 millimeter and the face I have selected gets deleted. Even if you use the section view, click on OK, you can clearly see it gets cut in half. I got a hollowed out part.